discussing about the topic media and information sources in lesson 5. So our learning objectives our learning objectives, by the end of this lesson, you will be able to A. Identify the different sources of information, B. Compare potential sources of media and information, C. Determine the accuracy, reliability, and value of information by questioning the source of data. Napalo.
Sources of media and information. Information can come from many places like books, the media, internet, and our own experiences. We chose the source based on what kind of information we need. So the first example of the sources of media and information is the indigenous knowledge. Indigenous knowledge is a knowledge of a community passed down from elders to the younger generation. It comes from their culture, traditions, and daily life. An example of the indigenous knowledge is the Muyong. The Muyong of the Ifugao shows how they take care of their land in a traditional way. This knowledge shared within the community using their own language and practices to protect nature and their culture. Indigenous media's characteristics are as follows. First is oral tradition of communication. Second is store information and memories. Third is information exchange is face-to-face, and lastly, information is contained within the border of the community.
So we can also find sources from the library. It is a place in which literary, musical, artistic, or reference materials such as books, manuscripts, recordings, or films are kept for use but not for sale. Its main role is to organize and provide you access information and labeled as steward of good information. So we have here the types of library. We have academic library. It serves colleges and universities, while the public library, it serves cities and towns of all types. Then we also have school library. It serves students from kindergarten to grade 12. Then lastly is the special library. These are in specialized environments such as hospitals, corporations, museums, the military, private business, and the government. So we can also find sources from the internet. It is a global computer network providing a variety of information and communication facilities, consisting of interconnected networks using standardized communication protocols. Unlike similar information found in newspapers or television broadcasts, information available on the internet is not regulated for quality or accuracy. Therefore, it is particularly important for the individual internet user to evaluate the resource or information. Keep in mind that almost anyone can publish anything they wish on the web. It is often difficult to determine authorship of the web sources, and even if the author is listed, he or she may not always represent him or herself honestly, or he or she may represent opinions as fact.
So next, how will you evaluate the information you found on the internet? Well, let's find out. So first is authorship. It is critical to relate the ideas you find at a site to an author, organization, or business. In this way, there is a degree of accountability of any of the ideas expressed. Be especially wary in a site which the author or sponsoring organization is not clearly stated. Publishing body, anyone with an internet service provider or AT&T, NUP.net, and NMU, and etc. can put up a web page. As a result, you need to have some ideas whether the group claiming responsibility for the information of the website is legitimate. So authorship refers to the one who created the information. This could be a person, organization, a school, a company, and a government agency. So second is accuracy and verifiability. A source of information is known to be scholarly when it provides reference to the information presented. In this way, the reader can confirm whether the information is accurate or the author's conclusion is reasonable. A page without reference still may be useful as an example of the ideas of an individual, organization, or business, but not as a source of information. So accuracy and verifiability refers to whether the information is correct and whether it can be checked or proven using reliable source.
I will be discuss the skill in determining the credibility of information. First is check the author. You can see the author's credentials, expertise, and reputation. Next is check the data publication or update, so you can ensure the information if it is current and relevant. Third is check for citation, so you can verify the information if it is supported by credible sources. Lastly is check the domain or owner of the sites or pages, so you can understand the purpose and potential biases of website like commercial, educational, and so on. For the next slide, alternative forms of communication and distribution such as social media, blogs, and flash mob performance have become popular. These forms provide greater freedom and power to ordinary individuals and are a quicker way of distributing information. However, the downside is that the lot of information being passed around is biased and inaccurate. So, social media, blogs, and flash mob performance have made it easier for people to share their thoughts, ideas, but it's essential to be critical of the info being shared. Next is skill in determining the accuracy of information. First is look for facts. So you can verify the information if it's factual and supported by evidence. Next is cross-reference with other sources for consistency. So you can compare the information to other reliable sources to make sure the consistency and accuracy. Next is determine the reason for writing and publishing the information, so you can consider the author purpose and potential biases. Lastly, check for the advertising. Be aware that the advertisers is use the related information